Welcome to the Feel Better, Be Better show. Today, Kait and Nevada will answer your questions and introduce new topics designed to help feel better and be better. These are raw conversations, but they will make a difference.
All right. Are we doing intro now?
Doing intro now.
Sweet. Okay, let's see here. What did we have going over today? We had food.
Yep.
Okay. Did we have sports?
Nope.
Okay. Did we have, I don't know,
Just a guessing game.
tic-tac-toe?
No.
I can't remember what we talked about.
We talked about our trip to the rodeo this weekend.
Oh, yeah, we did.
We sold a lot of burgers there. And we talked about retirement.
I didn't know we were doing a financial show.
We're not. We were talking about health in general, but I had some good health-related questions to my financial health.
Oh,
so
okay.
I made them answer for you guys too. It
Well,
was really good.
Yeah, we're allowed to steer our course on our own show, right?
Yeah, we can do whatever we want.
Sweet.
Might come back and talk next week about something totally random that has nothing to do with anything. Who knows?
I can think of a few topics.
Oh no, that might be scary.
Awesome.
But anyway, take a listen. Hopefully you enjoy.
Financial health. All right, Kait, another week.
Another week.
Another week done. What do we do? We just finished up rodeo, right?
Just finished up the rodeo. Yep.
It was wild. It was a lot of burgers. A lot of holy cow burgers.
Exhausting. We got a lot of good compliments on Matt Michel's meat, though.
Of course. It's amazing.
I know. It's good. We knew it would be, but.
I had tons of people coming up saying they were good and stuff like that. It was, I don't know if it'll happen again. I don't know what the situation is, but it was still, it was good times. It was good things to do. I enjoyed it. So.
Kept us busy on a Friday and Saturday night.
Yes. I needed help with that very much.
Yeah. You kind of are a slacker, so.
I know. Yeah. Super slacker. Super slacker. Anyways, that was a good time, though, I think. So Shelby and Tyler, was great.
Mm-hmm.
Good awareness from Michelle, and chance for people to try stuff. And,
yep.
I think the craziest thing is when people, they always kind of act like it's super expensive, and it's really not that at all.
No.
It's a little bit more. The health qualities and stuff that you get is just so worth it.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right, let's see here. What else we got? We got you wanted to talk about money?
I did want to talk about money.
I like money. I've heard of that.
I know. Everybody likes money.
Yeah.
If you have it, you can get some. It's
people that don't have it like it too.
Yeah,
when they get it, they're like, yeah.
Yeah, true. No, I wanted to talk to you because I felt like we did a good kind of financial 101 a couple weeks back.
Oh, which time?
When we were talking on the last show.
Oh, the last show?
Yeah,
okay.
About financial stuff, just like basic saving money and just the gist. And I recently last fall left a position where I had retirement and employee match. Mm-hmm. And I didn't realize what I could do with it as far as rolling stuff over, and you kind of got mad at me for not asking you about it. But we just talked about a lot of different things, and I think a lot of people out there, I feel like I know more than the average person, but I feel like a lot of people out there don't know the basics to retirement and what you can do. I didn't know I could roll it into an account that I had control over where the hell it went. So I thought it was just one of those, they had preset accounts and you just got one of those accounts, and that's just how it went.
No, it happens all the time. We kind of get into the whole thing of the 401k, it's through your employer, so you got to deal with your employer. So when you go to your next employer, you got to roll it into their 401k. That's not how it works at all. The designation of 401k is just to allow you to be able to save money for retirement with your employer. That's the code section of what it is, 401k code section. Mm-hmm. Those you can roll. You can roll into a lot of things. Now, a lot of people, they don't know what to do, so they end up cashing them out, which is probably about one of the worst things you can do. Mm-hmm. Because you're going to have to pay tax on it, just like you would any other, assuming it's a pre-tax scenario, which even if it's Roth, it's Roth, you may not have to pay
still get a penalty.
You still have to hit the 10% penalty. You can't get out of the 10% penalty. You could have the worst tax year in the world, and you take money out of that account, you're going to pay the 10%. You don't get to take it off. I'm sure there's a credit or something or whatever, some scenarios. But anyway, just keep in mind. So you're gonna have your regular tax rate plus a 10%. Mm-hmm. It's quite a bit of money.
Yeah.
Now there's plenty of places that will roll it for you. You can go Google, look out. We checked 2 or 3 different, whatever they do, what they call an IRA, which Why it's not called an individual retirement account, I have no idea. It's called an individual retirement arrangement. Ugh, whatever. Stupid. But anyway, it's an IRA is, and most people have an idea what an IRA is. They're both basically the same thing. One is the code section for employers. One is the code section for individuals. So I mean, you can put money into this account. You don't pay taxes on it. It can grow. When you pull it out, you pay taxes on it. It's a standard traditional IRA, 401k, either way. Obviously, the 401k allows employers to put money in for their deduction. That's why it's separate and different. That's it. So if you want to take that money that's already tax advantage, is what they call it, so it hasn't been paid tax on, in your 401k and roll it into an IRA, there's plenty of companies that'll do it for you. And there's a couple different ways it can happen. Some will do it straight for you and take care of everything. Some will, you have to get a check and then you deposit the check and then you have a certain period of time before you got to put that money back in or it will become a distribution. And they'll report it as a distribution because they don't know what you're doing with money, so they have to report it. And when you get that 1099, you may, I forget. But not really. As long as you have that you contributed, you can put that in and they will track it back through. So, I mean, it can kind of look kind of scary, but it's not that bad. They have to report that they sent you money. That's what they're required to do. Before we get too in the weeds, though, if your company has a match, there is no place in the world that can beat that kind of return. There is nobody that if you take them $1, they'll give you $1.50 even on a 50% match. There's nowhere in the world where you can take them $1 and they'll give you $2 for a full 100% match. You cannot beat that return. Take whatever match there is. I mean, I've actually, my analytical craziness and spreadsheets, created spreadsheets over spreadsheets over spreadsheets, trying to figure out if it would be good for me to literally go in my credit card debt to take the match because it's that good. So it's that good to take the match. If you can, stretch yourself, get the match. So
I feel like there's something I was going to say on that, and I might have lost it. It'll come back here in a minute.
Well, we can go into Roth too. And people get kind of confused on that one. So if you have the Roth 401k, which some people do, some people don't, and you can roll that into a Roth IRA. I mean, so they just kind of match up that way.
They just have to be separate. Because like in my case, I had one employer that had a Roth. And then my next employer, I didn't have a choice. It was just a regular one.
Yeah, most employers don't. Most employers for a long time ago did not really offer a Roth option.
So now I have to roll them into two different ones because they're different.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. The place that you had a Roth, you probably had a Roth and a traditional.
No, I just had a Roth.
Really? Interesting.
And that's the one where I have the bulk of my amount.
Did that one have a match? Interesting. Sorry, they don't typically. That's the problem with Roths. That's why most companies don't allow them, because on the company side it's a deduction. So if you work for me or whatever, and we do a 401k plan, you do $1,000, I match $1,000, so I pay $1,000 in for you. You get $2,000 in. The $1,000 is a deduction for me, so I don't have to pay taxes on that. Well, if you're doing Roth, that's not a deduction of yours. It's not a deduction over here. So most companies didn't want to have an expense that wasn't a deduction, so they didn't. That's why they didn't offer the Roth. Now, what a lot of them will do is offer both. So they'll let you contribute to your Roth, they will contribute to the traditional, and then that way it works for everybody.
No, it's all in the same. I got to pick between a Roth or a regular, but they put it all in the same and they matched. So I don't know how they did it, but
interesting.
But it did work for the state. I don't know if that makes a difference with more options. Sometimes they have other things they've got going on.
Well, you brought it up, so I'm going to make sure I say this. There's plenty of things that the state is allowed to do that the rest of us aren't allowed to do.
So that might be part of it.
Part of that is the fact of who's going to enforce it, considering they're the ones that enforce it. I think one of the best ones is like, trying to charge a fee for using a credit card, which we had at the rodeo this week. You're not really allowed to do that. And they're like, well, they do it when I'm doing this and on the state website or whatever. And it's like, who's going to call them out for it? I mean,
themselves.
Yeah, they're going to have, don't get me wrong, we should hold them accountable to follow the rules they need to have. But I mean, in their case, there's budget situations and stuff like that. So, I mean, they have an exemption that most people don't have. Everybody else doesn't get to do that. So. But
I don't know if maybe that's the reason why.
There might be a special
provision. I was in a
provision.
situation where that was able to do that. But, that one is a Roth and my other one is a traditional. And
there could be a special provision that they have or something. And then, but I just want to make sure that for most people, that's why, if your employer does like, oh, I'll match if you do traditional, but I won't match if you do Roth. That's probably why. There's usually some pretty good reasons for that. Still, just take the match.
Yeah.
You can't really beat that.
Yeah.
Now, as we're as we're into that, I want to make sure I tell people. So, your 401k while you're working, especially with match, always looks like it's doing amazing in the market. Okay, you don't realize how much money you're contributing. So it always looks like my 401k never goes down. Well, of course not. You're putting money in every single paycheck. All right. So, and they're matching. So it's really easy to make that look good. I, as an administrator for a lot of places that I worked at as an accountant that was running the 401k plans and stuff like that, I'm going to tell you right now, it's really hard to find the fees in 401k plans, even for me. Even as the administrator, yeah, they would tell me, but to actually see it, it was really hard. I mean, I got to the point where I was literally going out, tracking online how much the change had happened to track back what the amount should have been in people's accounts to figure out what the fees were that they were charging to make sure they were right as my due diligence as the administrator. That is amazingly frustrating. All I can tell you is that 401k plans typically have the highest percentage of fees. And you may be like, that's ridiculous or be upset about it, but it makes total sense. It always has way more transactions, way more reporting, all kinds of other stuff. That's why they're the highest fees. So when you leave that job and all of a sudden a 401k plan doesn't do as well, of course not. You're not putting money in. It's got higher fees, so it's going to do that. So I always recommend that people roll them as pretty much as fast as they can. The other thing is that you usually have very few options. We purposely design plans to not confuse employees. So you get like 8 options. That's it.
8 options?
Well, to invest your money into.
Oh, okay. I was like, I'm pretty sure I had like 1 or 2.
Yeah, no.
For plans to pick.
Funds you could, well, you had 2. That's
1 to 2.
Yeah, they have gone down to being super simple because they don't want people overwhelmed and confused.
Mm-hmm.
So we narrow it down to be like, we're going to give you something that will spread you out. And typically in that one we look for, not high fees, that kind of stuff. But we try to make it work for about anybody because we don't want only financial professionals knowing what to do on their retirement. So they narrow down the pick options. Well, when you roll it into, like a publicly or one of the investment funds, I mean, the world is your oyster at that point.
Yeah, I think that was the craziest part is it was like, no, you can go with a similar plan to like kind of what you have, or you can literally buy whatever stocks you want or bonds you want to buy. And I'm like anything? Like I can buy whatever I want with the money that like I can actually touch it and buy whatever?
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I'm sure I remember pulling up my account and you're like, wait a minute, that's like an individual stock. I'm like, yeah. You want to buy one? I was like, went and bought one, because I mean, that's my account is into something that I run and I pick different things. And yeah, I have like exchange traded funds, I have mutual funds. I mean, you can do bonds. I mean, there's just, the world is your oyster at that point for the most part. Whatever the place you're at offers, you can go with it. Now, there are consequences in some of that stuff and you can say it gets confusing, whatever. If you want to look into it, I mean, they'll warn you, they'll help you out with it. But I just tell people in particular, I mean, if you really want to keep it super simple, just buy yourself a 500 SP 500 index fund. They're usually, make sure it's, the fees are low on it and just invest in that. And you don't ever have to really touch it. You can set it to automatically reinvest when you get dividends. It'll into that, buy into that. So you're basically just constantly investing. And all you got to do is pay attention to the news occasionally, like, oh, is the market up or down? And you know what your retirement's doing. And that's probably one of the cheapest, best, and easiest ways to invest. Or you can get super crazy and start doing all kinds of stuff. Now, funny story. I know we kind of talked about this, but for the most people that do in the overall, as I studied into it, people that manage their own retirement accounts, women tend to outperform men.
I find that really funny.
And the hilarious part about it was you would say that they, maybe on the general, that they studied more because they didn't want to mess up and blah, 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 or whatever. That wasn't necessarily the case when they dove into it even deeper. What they found is that basically women didn't change it a lot. So they picked something and stuck with it. Whereas most of the men, when they looked into it, they were always chasing whatever was they were going for. Basically, the women were more either disciplined, maybe, or what's the word I'm looking for, where they're kind of like, I don't know what to do, so I'm just leaving it.
More passive.
Passive, yeah, whatever. They just didn't do anything with it. Well, and that kind of also then that made them look into how much things really kind of yeah, this sector's getting beat up, but guess what? Then it'll turn back around. Now, if you bet on that, it's probably not going to happen. But I mean, they just kind of are saying that it's good to diversify and rebalance, diversify and rebalance, diversify, rebalance for people that aren't going to like keep up in what is brand new, what is coming out, what is this company about. Which I mean, most people don't have time for that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I lived and breathed that stuff, and there's still tons of stuff I miss all the time. I mean, so I just, it's real easy just to buy an S&P 500 stock, set it to rebalance yourself, and then go. Maybe look at it once a year and make sure everything is good. Mm-hmm. And you can say, well, what do I rebalance from? Well, buy a bond fund, maybe buy yourself a couple sectors that you like or something like that, which you can buy those on an ETF. There's a lot of interesting things you can do.
Yeah. Okay, I have another question for you, but it kind of deviates a little. If we don't need to finish anything on there, we can. But okay,
no deviations.
No deviations. Dang it. So say someone has a job and they have employee match and retirement and all that jazz, all that good stuff, and then leave that job and they go to roll it over to an individual and they don't have a retirement plan where they're at. And now they're at a point where they not only have to like roll it over and decide what they want to go into, but like how much they want to kind of contribute to get where they need to go or what they want to do.
Okay. Almost all of those places are really awesome in the fact that they will totally let you set up investing, where you can deposit with them. They really want your money there. That's
crazy.
Yeah, they're really good at that. So if you're in a situation where your company does not offer a retirement plan, one of the easiest ones you just do is do one of the IRA contributions. I mean, that's one of the biggest limitations of doing an IRA is if you're in a company that has a 401k plan. Mm-hmm. The limitations on that get kind of, you got to make less than, I think, 4,000 right now, and they index it for inflation. So, I mean, so in that case, if you're working and you make $70,000 and your company has a 401k plan to match, you can still contribute to an IRA on top of your 401k contributions. But if you make like 70, well, I'm going to go up a little bit higher because I have a phase out, 80,000, you can only really do your 401k plan. Mm-hmm. But if you're at an employer that doesn't have one, you totally get to do IRAs. Mm-hmm. And what that means is that you can do up to I think it's 6,500 now. No, 7,000. 7,000. You get, I think, check it. Google it, check it, no problem. IRA contribution limit. Just
X amount a year.
You can do whatever amount, for the year. And what you can do is you can have it'll be a deduction on your taxable income.
Okay, so even though you might have paid taxes when you got your income, then when you pay your taxes, that's when it comes.
That would be a traditional.
Yeah.
So that's on a traditional IRA. So if you make $50,000 a year and you contribute $5,000 to your traditional IRA, they only tax you on the $45,000. And then it can sit over there and grow until you need the money, then you'll pay taxes on it. Now, if you do a Roth, make $50,000, you pay the tax, do the Roth contribution, you don't get any deduction there, but that money gets to grow and you can use it tax-free when you take it out. And that is truly your trade-off. Now, funny story, everybody always does this whole thing of, should I Roth or should I not Roth? And it's a huge debate. And I just got real simple with the whole thing. Do you think you'll be earning more in retirement in taxable income than you are in your working years? And somebody can say, oh, I'm definitely going to be earning more in my working years. Who would go the opposite direction? Well, I happen to be lucky. I'm actually one of the ones in the other side where I am going to probably be making way more in retirement than I will be in my working age. So I've been doing Roth like crazy because I know my income is going to be higher over here. That one we can kind of usually get a good grip on. There's some inflation issues there and some stuff like that you need to check out. If you're close, then I would say just do traditional. But if you're way skewed, then you can figure out which way it's going to be pretty easy. If you know you're going to be like, I'm probably going to have half the income in retirement that I have now, traditional. It's really easy. If it's less you think you're going to be in retirement, or it's the same and or less, traditional. If you think you're going to definitely be getting a lot more in retirement, Roth. It's pretty easy. So, and obviously people do the years thing too of how long it takes to compound. Still, really depends on how much you have in there. Mm-hmm. I like Roth. I don't have any issue with it, especially if you start saving early. And when I mean early, I'm talking like, teens, 20s.
That's what I was told in my first job because I was, I was in my late teens. I can't remember if they had retirement or not at that time. at that job. But just early on that, because I was so young, the first retirement plan I should have got a Roth. And that's what I did because I had the option. But that was because of advice that I got because I was younger and I had a lot more years
Yeah, well, I
for
mean,
retirement to grow.
but again, they'll think about what I said. So in those time frames, when you were a teenager or young 20s, right, your earnings might have been $12,000, $15,000. Well, I'm pretty sure your earnings in retirement were going to be higher than that.
Yeah.
Just due to inflation, it was going to be. So, I mean, in that case, that kind of works there. It was probably going to be pretty askew because you were, even in your first job, I mean, you're expecting to probably double your income probably 4 or 5 times. So, I mean, you can easily kind of push that out and go, no, I should be making way more in retirement, so I should be doing Roth. So that whole, to me, that when I'm thinking of what I should do Roth or not Roth, what I'm earning now compared to what I should be earning when I'm in retirement. If you need help, you can do a calculation, Google out retirement calculator. If I'm saving this much now at this age, how much money, how much will be getting off of that? It'll tell you. And you can literally compare them. Am I making more than that now or less than that now? Okay. Way less, Roth. More, traditional. It's pretty simple that way. So, I mean, yeah, that's why I say when people talk about the age and everything, I'm just come back to whether you think you're going to be making more or less. And obviously, it's a very big projection, but that's what it is. I mean, if I had a crystal ball, I'd be really rich. So, yeah, I don't know what else I'd do on that one. So, on your financial stuff that we talked about, any other interesting questions coming out of that?
I'm trying to think if there's anything else we talked about in regards to it. I'm sure I'm not thinking of something. Now you have a certain amount that you can contribute during a year. How do you determine how much that you want to contribute a month or whatever to get towards a goal? I know you talked about doing a spreadsheet with one of our friends, but like if I were to like want to go do this on my own and I didn't have you and your brain available.
Well, I mean, a lot of people, I mean, it's going to rotate around their paydays. So, I mean, you know, that's usually when that's one of the things I recommend is as soon as you get paid, just pay out your bills, you know, pay out whatever you got going. So, I mean, if you want to I want to do 6,000 is easier because of the way the months are. So it's $500 a month. I want to do $500 a month and you get paid, you know, semi-monthly where you paid like the 15th or the end of the month, or I get paid at the 1st and the 15th or whatever it is. You can just set up, all right, I want 250, you know, maybe a day or two afterwards in case somebody has a payroll problem or it falls on a holiday or something like that. I usually give it a couple days. And then basically at the end of the year, hey, here it is. I already got all my stuff. You know, it's already contributed, already taken care of. If you happen to be in a situation where you're a biweekly employee, which happens to a lot of people, just take whatever total you want to do for the year, divide it by 26. Say you get paid on Wednesday, have them take it out on Friday. I mean, and you can just have it automatically done and you don't have to think about it, which, I mean, I introduced that to you.
I know, go back to the last financial show we did.
How's that working out for you, by the way?
I mean, really good, but I've had to grab some of it back.
Yep.
But, I mean, it goes over there. Actually, one of mine that I don't touch, I was like, oh, look at all that money built up over there. I didn't realize I had that much in that account.
Yes. I think it's one of the biggest things that is people don't talk about is the fact that you may need the money. You may need to rate it. You may need to go get it. But for the most part, it usually accumulates more than what you take out of it.
Well, and the thing, too, is I've got 2 savings accounts, and one is to build up as savings, and one is to build up to then pay other things. And so, yeah, I need to pull that one because I'm purposely putting it aside to then pay something later. So, yeah, that one gets rated for those purposes a lot because that's what it was meant to do. Whereas my other one it's just building to build.
Yeah. It's weird when you put those on automatic all of a sudden how everything just works out so much better.
Yeah.
So that's what I do on my retirement stuff. Yeah, I get my current employer, I get paid semi-monthly, but I just have one a month come out because I have some bills that kind of hit. I have a lot of bills that hit in one scenario. So I have those there, and then I have my savings one and the other one. I honestly liked it better when I got paid monthly because most of my bills come monthly. I love people that always act like a monthly is like the worst paying situation. I really liked it because it's like, got paid, pay my monthly bills, you know, and then whatever I have left, I have for the rest of the month. And I thought that was
4 weeks
great.
Is a long time for some people to divvy out money, though.
Well, I think one of the reasons
I know you're not getting more money being every other week, but it's like less to keep track of.
I think one of the biggest ones that mess them up on that one is that they have a problem with paying a bill early.
That too.
And so they come down to where it's due and, oh no, I got to pay this bill. Whereas me, I was like, I don't care if it's 10 days early. Who cares? 15 days, 20 days. I didn't care. I was like, I knew I was going to pay it. So I just paid it. So, I mean, I got the bill, I paid it, and so that once you kind of get on your own monthly schedule, it doesn't matter. Yeah. You might get the bill. Say you get paid on the 1st, right? And then for the previous month or something like that, even though your electric bill isn't due till the 20th, if you're used to that, you pay on the 3rd. What does it matter? I mean, you just pay it and you kind of get in that habit. So, I mean, I think that was the one that always messed people up most. Now, getting there is a bigger deal because most people can't handle not getting paid for like 3-4 weeks. I understand that one. But most of the places I did that we did monthly, we actually had a couple programs to help get them there. Like we'd have like a situation where we would interim pay them to get them to where they could get used to getting to a monthly schedule. So anyway, most people work through it anymore. I don't think we have quite as big a deal, but I like getting paid monthly. So.
Is there anything else in retirement? Is there anything we haven't gone over?
Well, there's tons. I mean, that's why
Retirement 101.
I think the biggest thing is everybody wants that whole thing of like, I want to get this huge return or whatever. They act like they get huge returns more than anything. Almost all those have turned out to be bad. I mean, really sticking to simplicity, I think, is better than anything. Like I'm currently on a mission to try to basically replace my income with dividends. I mean, it's going to take a long, long time to do that. I'm well aware, but if I never get started, I'm never going to get there. And so, I mean, it's just fun, though, for me trying to find these companies that have paid good dividends, increased their dividend, and stuff like that. And a lot of them are old school ones that everybody always complains about the fact that they don't do very well. They're blue chip stock. They go up like 1-2% maybe or something like that. I'm like, I don't care. I'm buying the dividend. I want the income. And they're a great dividend payer. So I don't really care that it didn't appreciate. I'm getting kicked off, 5, 4, 6%, whatever it is. That's what I invested in. I wanted the dividend.
Well, it kind of balances the ones that you are trying to buy stocks to grow because you do have some that have jumped a lot too. So, I mean, it kind of balances each other out because you have ones that maybe don't go up and down as much.
Hey, some of them fell off a cliff too.
Yeah, that's true. But you've got ones that jump up and down, and then you've got ones that are pretty steady.
Yeah, and that's part of diversifying on that one. And just so we're sure, I mean, I have a lot of individual stocks, but I also have quite a few ETFs. I have quite a few indexes and stuff like that. I have quite a few. I got one index. You only really need one index. So, but I think the biggest thing on that one though is you just got to focus on what you're getting. I mean, we tend to focus too much on, well, my friend got made 12% in appreciation in this or whatever, and I only made like 9. You have no idea. They may have lost like 20% the year before. I mean, focus on what you can control, what you understand, what you do. I mean, some of the best investors in the world know nothing about the heavy market. They know about their market. They know about their business model, their situation that they're in, and they're able to know which companies are really good at that, and they can invest in those and go a long ways. So just stick to what you know.
There you go. I think that covers all the basics.
Yeah.
Get people's wheels turning. You can do your own stocks with your retirement. Or you can buy a plan on your own with your retirement stock.
Obviously, you got questions, ask Kait. She'll ask me, and then you'll get an answer.
Pretty much. Like, help! The one that I have to roll over now, I'm like, when this comes, will you help me so I don't mess it up? Yeah. I'm sure it'll be perfectly easy and fine, but I'm just like, what if I hit one wrong button and then it's all just messed up?
Well, I think I told you guys from the get-go, I'm like, you need to call them and find out exactly what you need to do. And that's because, I mean, they're going to have a process that they want to do.
I know, they told me.
Oh, nice. And then you just follow the process and you're good. Yeah. So, no, don't ever be ashamed that you're not contributing, that you're not going to contribute enough. Don't ever be in the situation where if you don't understand something, Google it. And if you have a question, ask some people.
Or if you're later in life and you're like, it's not worth it to even start, like it is.
It always is. It always is, because things can happen. But just do it and do what you can and stretch yourself a little bit. You can always go back and get that stuff, especially in the current year. Even if you make an IRA contribution and later on something comes off the wall, you can go back and get that contribution that year It's just if you constantly wait for the very last minute and you don't do your contribution till April 15th for the year before, yeah, you're not going to have any flexibility there. But if you're kind of doing it through the year and then all of a sudden something crazy happens, you can go, hey, I need to recharacterize that and get it back. And they will do it. You can do that. You're allowed to. So you have flexibility. Just do what you can. And with that, we're getting out of here, man. That was, totally what we normally do.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's coaching, financial coaching.
Yeah, I mean, it is. I mean, it was a situation, financial health, and coaching opportunity for you to teach me how to do financial stuff that I didn't know how to do.
Well, yeah, you were
I knew part of it, and I was like, oh.
You were a little stressed about it for a minute there, and then I kind of got you squared away, and you took care of it.
Well, yeah, because I was like, oh, I got to deal with this, and I haven't the last couple months, and I was like, I really need to roll this over before they do whatever they want to do with it. And you're like, well, why didn't you ask me? Because I can tell you exactly where you can put it. And I was like, well, yeah, that probably would have been a good thing. I mean, it's not like you don't do this all the time.
Yeah.
I thought I just had to roll it over into whatever plane they had. I didn't realize I could do whatever I wanted.
Yes. That was the part that kind of where I'm like, no, you can literally do whatever you want. It's your money. You can do what you want. There's multiple ways to do it. You just need to find out the right thing. So, hey, if you guys need anything else, let us know.
Yep.
We'll be more than happy to help you out.
Yep.
And have a good one.
Thank you for watching. Kait and Nevada hope you've enjoyed this show and found it useful and empowering. If you have any questions or comments, please contact them at kinetics.com. That's KNETICX.com. They're on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok as well. And please write a review of the show. Kait and Nevada appreciate hearing the feedback, and they welcome your reviews, and your word of mouth will help others learn how to feel better and be better.